Okay, I think we can start the webinar now. So today we are going to discuss about what is new in ArcGIS Pro. So this webinar will be conducted mainly in English, but time to time I will switch into Sinhala, and whatever the required answers you can ask questions in both Sinhala or English, so we can answer those things. Okay, so we are going to discuss on ArcGIS Pro and its latest version. හොඳයි අද දිනේ අපි සාකච්ඡා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ ArcGIS Pro සහ ඊ තිබෙන නවතම සංස්කරණය 2.9 කියන version එක සම්බන්ධයෙන්. ඉතින් අද දිනේ වෙබිනාර් එක ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍යයෙන් හසුරවනු ලබනවා. නමුත් ඔබට ගැටලු ඇති වුණු අවස්ථාවලදී ඔබට අවසානයේ අපි තිබෙන Q&A session එකේදී ඔබට අහන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රශ්න සිංහලෙන් හෝ ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍යයෙන් ඒ සඳහා පිළිතුරු අපිට ලබා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. So first of all, I would like to introduce our organization. I think this webinar series we did from the previous year, end of the previous year. So I think most of you know us, the ArcGIS Solutions, and we are working as the sole distributor in Sri Lanka for ArcGIS software. And also we are involved in software providing as well as training in the organizations in this particular technology. So we are a principal environmental system research institute. They are based in Redlands, California. Actually, one of the important features is they are kind of an organization who involved in a lot of innovations, especially in this GIS domain. So every year they are investing a lot for the innovations of this technology, and every year they are presenting a new thing for the whole world. So this webinar is mainly containing three aspects. The first one is the new features in the latest release, and this will also include certain features of the recent releases. Then we are going to discuss a little bit about the extension modules, some advanced analytical options in Pro. Then as the third option, we will discuss about the training opportunities which we are providing. So basically there are courses, and as well as there are free knowledge share sessions which we are doing for customer organizations. So we will discuss those things at the end. Okay, first we are going to discuss a little bit about Pro. So what is this Pro? It is a kind of a single desktop GIS application. So what is the meaning of this single desktop GIS application? So we will go through certain things. So this is the Esri's kind of desktop GIS application, the professional desktop GIS application, and it is the latest one. So we know ArcMap is there, and also ArcGIS Pro is there, but mainly the latest developments coming into the Pro. So that means ArcMap, the developments are not going forward. It is stopped in the, it has been stopped in 10.8.1 version. But Pro is continuing with its own versioning sequence. Version 2.9 is the latest one. So the next year it will be changed according to the releases of the new software platform. So it has the visualizing, analyzing these capabilities in any kind of GIS software. And most important part is it has 2D and 3D scenes together. Then another important feature is whatever the things we are creating, maybe a map or 3D scene, can be published into a web environment. So that is called ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise Portal, kind of a web portal. We can publish data from this particular application. So it's kind of a authoring tool for publishing data. And also it has various capabilities, especially certain things developed for time dimension. So for example, the 4D, the time-based analysis, time series kind of things are included in Pro in different ways. So there's an evolution of ArcGIS platform. So S3 actually founded in 1969, but after several years of research work and a lot of experience, in early 1981, they introduced a software called PC ArcInfo. That is kind of a command line software where you can write codes and then obtain the results. So then it was further developed, the change. This was another version like ArcGIS ArcView, like 1.0, 2.0, then 3-point versions. So it was developed with the Windows operating systems, the graphical user interfaces. Then like 1999, 2000 onwards, there's another release of ArcGIS coming from different versions like 8 series, 9 series, and now we are at the 10 series. So ArcMap is the prominent software in that series. So with the ArcMap release, there's another product called ArcGIS Pro. The reason is the IT environment has changed, and also there are new developments in the hardware and every sector. So to have those facilities and also the WebGIS integrations, they have introduced another software called ArcGIS Pro. So now several years, there are several versions starting from 1.0, now 2.9, which is developed with a lot of performance and the enhancements. Right. So these software platforms, they are sitting on this desktop environment. So this desktop environment, we are having two softwares currently, ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro. So both can run together in the same machine. We can install both software platforms. Standalone, those software can work. So there's another GIS ecosystem here. That means from desktop software, we can publish data into web portals, as well as from the web portals, we can access data into the desktop software, and we can do various analysis from here. Okay, so we will discuss a little bit more the powerful single desktop GIS application. So what is the meaning of this? So it may have certain features like maps and charts together, right? Maps can be there, charts can be there. So these things can be taken as views. So here you are looking at the Pro interface. So before going into these slides, I would like to go through a few software demonstrations. Then you will realize the interface, the appearance of the interface, and certain things. So I would like to share the link view again. I will share. Okay, I hope you can see the Pro interface. So normally, actually, we can open Pro when we have installed it in the C drive. After installing, from the start menu, we can access Pro. So when we open Pro, so in this start menu, there's a folder called ArcGIS. Inside that, there are different applications. ArcMap is also there, and also when we install Pro, you can identify two applications specially related to Pro. One is called ArcGIS Pro. The other one is called ArcGIS Pro Intelligence. So this application is specifically for different sectors, kind of a customization related to the industries like public safety. But the main application is ArcGIS Pro. When we open Pro, so you will see this type of interface. You will see this type of interface. So here you can see three sectors, three sections. The first section is kind of an documents which we have opened recently. Second section, you will find new templates. So if you want to create a new map, you have to go to this template. Then there are other templates like catalog, globe, and scene. So the catalog is just for data managing. Globe and scene can be used for three-dimensional work. Three-dimensional work. So the globe means kind of a globe level 3D, and local scenes are 3D scenes again in the local area, kind of urban development scenario. That kind of urban models can be created in the local scene level. So without a template also you can open it. So there's an option called without template. So using that you can open without creating any map or globe at the initial level. So then the learning resources. The third section contains several amounts of learning resources. Especially there are tutorials, quick start tutorials, Learn ArcGIS, and Esri Academy. Kind of important learning resources are organized in the interface. So anyone, if you want to try Pro, so you can, after installation, you can create a map here or any other template. So it will create kind of a map like this, but initially it will create a project. So this project will contain several things. It can contain maps, map layouts, as well as toolboxes and many other things. And also, you can store your other geodatabases. So there's a geodatabase created inside this Pro. So you can store your other geodatabases inside the same folder. The expectation is to have your data in the same folder, manage your data in a particular workflow. That's the whole idea, right? Then what else we can, when you click Pro, when you open this kind of map, so we will create one. So it will load the map like this way. It will load the map. So the whole interface is containing ribbons. So it is containing ribbons. It's not like toolbar driven software. There are ribbons like this. There are different ribbons. So you can see each topic, there are different ribbons. So this map ribbon is the main ribbon. So it contains add data option, base map switching, and there are different groups. So each group contains tools. So here you can see a group called Navigate. So this group contains the tools related for navigation. And this group is related to layer. And also this group again for selections, different selection methods. So this is the core interface of the software. So this is called a map. So there's a very important part here, a catalog. So this catalog can be opened from the view menu. So there's an option called catalog pane. So this catalog can be used for managing various things. For example, the maps we are creating in Pro stored in a folder called map. And also toolboxes. If we are creating model builder tools, so we can create inside this toolbox. By right clicking, we can create tools. Then databases. So we can have geodatabases like this, or we can have the other databases. We can create new geodatabases, or you can have different database platforms like different databases like SQL Server, Postgres kind of open source databases, and also new cloud-based databases like BigQuery, Snowflake. Likewise, there are in this new version, there are some additional databases platforms like cloud platforms integrated here. So that means the data is not only inside your local machine, it can be created in different platforms using the enterprise technology in ArcGIS. Pro is also the main part of that particular workflow. Okay, so now we have some kind of idea about the interface. Okay, I would like to move into some other things. So I will open another document. So in Pro, another important feature is we can have layouts, map layouts. So we can have multiple layouts in Pro. So if you want to have another layout, so you can simply add another layout. And elements can be added. Like this way, we can add different elements into the Pro. So a frame, and also we can activate the frame, and we can zoom to our layers through a window like this. So inside the map layout, you can handle your layers without changing the scale of the original data. You have the capability of that. So you can insert elements like north arrow. So if you have charts created here, you can insert those charts. There are different chart options in Pro. So likewise, you can have your own layouts. And also it is not kind of a single layout. We can have the multiple layouts. Without having single layout, we can have multiple layouts. Say for example here, you can see different layouts with dynamically changing text values. So here the text are changing in a dynamic mode. So these features you can export. You can export all the layout elements at once into a map series. That means like for a PDF file, a single PDF file, you can export all 12 pages. So here there are 12 page series. You can export all pages into a single PDF file. So that is kind of a workflow which was earlier in ArcMap called data-driven pages, but here it has been developed further, and there are dynamic text options available for layouts to have better perspective of the data. So this type of layouts we are creating, especially when we need to create large amount of maps, maybe for a series, that kind of operation, we are using this technology, right? So the primary purpose is that, right? So the dynamic text, I think there's a question related to the dynamic text. So normally this dynamic text are like this way. Here I will just zoom it a little bit out. So in the layout option, there are dynamic text options where we can have current date, current year, the map name kind of things, start time, end time. So there are different dynamic text available for inserting into the layout. So that is one of the options in the layout ribbon. Then another thing, in Pro, we can have multiple views like this, 2D views and 3D views, and also the 3D, sometimes in kind of realistic mode with animated symbols, animated kind of polygons, and sometimes without having this realistic model, we can have data in kind of thematic manner, the thematic 3D kind of manner. So each view, when we switch into each view, the content panel is dynamically changing. Content panel is dynamically changing. When you switch into each view, the panel is changing. When you switch into this view, again, the panel is changing. So that's a kind of capability inbuilt in Pro. Okay. So I will close this. Right. So that means a single application will have several views like maps, the layouts, sometimes the map series, and also like the views like this, 3D and 2D views. Okay, so now we have some idea about the application. So initially I wanted to give you kind of an idea about the application. Now I would like to give you kind of an overview about some new features available with the Pro. So first I would like to go into a project. So I will open a project from here. So I'm not going to change my initial project. Right. So this is kind of an empty project. So from catalog, we can add data. So we will add kind of a layer. Here you can see the catalog window with maps, toolboxes, databases, like this way. So this is a geodatabase here, the project name. So there are feature classes inside that geodatabase. Point layers, polygonal layers, there are different layer types. So I'm going to add one layer. So it's a layer of Sri Lanka. It's a feature class. So it contains some attributes. So I will open the attribute table. So there are data sets like this. So there are some COVID related data, the first wave, second wave, and third wave, and the total number of cases. So we will quickly symbolize this data. So I will go to my appearance ribbon. So in Pro, we are handling data using these ribbons. There are ribbons called appearance, labeling, and data. So this type of vector layer, we get several ribbons. So this appearance ribbon, we can change the symbology. So we can change the symbols, maybe according to kind of a unique value. So imagine we want to change the symbol according to the districts, then it will be symbolized like this way. So if we want to label maybe according to the total number of cases, this symbology method is not suitable. Then we have to select a different symbology method, maybe like this graduated colors. So then we can have kind of a thematic map like this way. So it will give you a thematic map appearance. So likewise, there are different methods of symbolizing, but there's a new method called Bivariate Colors. So this option, we can change the colors, maybe considering 2 or more variables. So in this case, I would like to symbolize data according to 2 different periods. So then it will give you a different symbology option like this. The variation bivariate color symbology. So this is kind of a new option in Pro from 2.8 version. So there are enhancements and there are different symbology, different colors, which we can use to enhance our the appearance of the data. And also this functionality is supported for web environment. So this bivariate symbology option is now available with the web environment. So it can be published, and also there's a map viewer in ArcGIS Online which can consume similar bivariate symbology appearance. Okay, so it is about a little bit about symbology, and yes, there are a lot of options in the labeling. So we can simply label any map. So we can have maybe a name of a district. We have to turn on labels. And there are different styles which we can try here. And immediately what you can do, we can change the fonts. We can increase fonts like this way. So the labeling has been very convenient when it comes to Pro. And there are many other options in the labeling, very advanced labeling options are there, like placement properties. The advanced labeling features are available when we want to have advanced labeling in our data. So those features are available. So different styles. According to our data, we can think about different labeling methods. Right. Okay. So that's about labeling, but there are very important things when it comes to the third contextual ribbon. In a vector A, we are getting a third ribbon. Again, it is giving us some opportunities to handle the data. So there are different new charts. So these charts are important because there are different types of charts like this, line charts, bar charts. So sometimes this type of charts like scatter plot. So we can have different types of charts. So I would like, we can have kind of a chart here. I would like to just create a one. Right. So this is kind of a scatter plot here. So scatter plot can be created like this way. And there are several options for modifying this chart. There are formatting options. You can modify the titles and things. So we can have charts with our data. And also after creating these things, you can easily insert these elements into a layout. So we can insert a map layout. Into this layout, we can insert our maps. So there are many other maps here. So I will insert this map. And also we can insert the created charts. So the chart is here, we can add that. So the charts, so we can have a lot of charts in a larger layout. So I have quickly added layout here. So with the data, you will find different options of displaying the results. Right. So I will close these views now. So I will go back to my catalog window. So since we are discussing some new features in Pro, now I'm going to move into those features. So there are plenty of features, and it is published in the web and the YouTube, the new features in ArcGIS Pro. So we will take you through certain new features. So one feature is kind of animated 2D symbols. So we can have animated 2D symbols. What is this animated? So normally we are having static symbols, but when it comes to animated symbol, you can see the symbol is animated. So here you can see these symbols. So these symbol of sun and kind of weather related symbols, this is kind of a good option when it is animated. So symbols are not very difficult. We can double click on any symbol and we can check this, and also we can search in this animated option, and we can enter and see this old style. There are new animated symbology in the version 2.3. So these are some animated symbols. So if required, we can change. There are 3D animated symbols and 2D animated symbols. So these symbols has been taken from that animation group. So let me take another group. So I will take another map. So this view, you can see several maps. Actually, when we are creating maps in Pro or the 3D scenes, all are stored in the catalog. You can find out and open them, right? So there are list of maps in this project. So we can have multiple maps. We can open them one by one. So this is again another animated symbol. Here you can see kind of wind direction kind of symbol, again animated. So I will show you quickly with the gallery how to change this symbol. So I will search for the animated. I'm going to go into these symbols, the different animated symbols. So it is not very difficult thing. You can select and change these animated symbols. So there are different symbol options, but according to the data, you have to select the appropriate symbol, and we cannot do a lot of changes in the properties, but we can change maybe the color like this way. We can change the symbol, right? So most important part is not only the animated in 3D, 2D, so we can have animated 3D symbols. So I'm going to open another one with some 3D data. Let me see. So I'll close this. So when it comes to different layers, so we will go to a bookmark here. So here we can see some symbols. One symbol here, right? This one you will find, I will turn on this symbol. So it's like this. So it's a kind of a wind farm type of symbol. So in 3D mode, we can have these symbols and we can navigate, we can position it. So I have just converted some symbols here. So not only this type of symbols, we can have symbols into trees. There are different animated symbols for trees and different other elements. Let me see. So we will open these symbols here. So we can see same symbol applied here, but you can see waves in the symbol, right? So these features are added into the new version of the 2.9. Right. So as the next thing, I will go to another new feature here. So I will open another one. So it is actually based on different types of clusters. Say, for example, we will take this from the beginning, right? So I will take some point data here. So I will go back to the geodatabase, some point data like this. So this point data, normally we symbolize, maybe using a gallery, we can symbolize in an appropriate way. Maybe you can reduce the size a little bit. Like this, we can symbolize. But sometimes the clustering is important when we are looking at this type of large point data sets. So how to do this clustering? For this option, there's a option in the appearance, this appearance ribbon, there's an option called different types of aggregations. There are different aggregation methods. Without aggregation, now we are having, we can have clustering. So we call this dynamic clustering method. So this clustering, it is opening another ribbon now where we can change the symbol of this cluster. So if you are not happy with this symbol, we can go there and we can check whether we can select a different symbol for this particular one. Maybe from gallery, we can think about maybe a different symbol for these clusters. There are different types of symbols we can select and see whether it is good for this particular data representation. So the clustering methods are there, different methods, but you can think about the appropriate methods like this way. Then again, we can do certain things like clustering. We can increase the radius of the cluster. So when we increase the radius, it will change our clustering according to that. And also the map scale dependent things we can change. And also sometimes if we have kind of a summary, if we are considering kind of fields into this cluster, we can also manage those things in this new ribbon. So this is again a new feature in the 2.9 version. Okay. So we moved into the clusters and several new features in the Pro. Okay. So now I'm going into another section. So which is explaining some features of the Pro with the extensions and the different advanced capabilities. Right. So let's discuss a little bit about the extension modules. So these extensions actually are some kind of additional capability or advanced capability which is not available in the core software, which can be added according to the different requirements. So there are some advanced analytics combined in these extensions. I think the GIS crowd in Sri Lanka, they are well familiar with these extensions like Spatial Analyst, which we are using for different data interpolations, data kind of hydrological analysis, different options. There are plenty of tools in Spatial Analyst. I will show the toolbox in the demonstration. And then 3D Analyst. So we know we can build 3D models, but there are plenty of different analyses like visibility analysis, line of sight. There are different analyses. So these things were available in ArcMap also, and Pro is also having those capabilities. And the network analyst, the road network related analysis, especially the shortest path, service area kind of things, those capabilities are again inside the Pro. Then geostatistical, advanced statistical analysis with the spatial data, we call geostatistical analyst. There's a wizard for geostatistical analyst, and those things are available with there. Then the fifth option, the business analyst. Again, it's another software which is focused on the commercial side. So different territories, sales performance and related things can be modeled in different manner using business analyst. Then finally, we are getting another very important powerful analysis in Pro. This is especially in Pro called image analyst. It has image processing capabilities. It has enhanced more than the ArcMap capabilities in the image processing. Then there are different other extensions, especially for different data related workflows. So there's one called data interoperability. This is used for data migrations. So imagine you have a one format. Maybe you are having CAD data sets which you need to migrate to the ArcGIS environment. So then one by one we can do that, but instead of doing one by one, whole process can be created in kind of a mechanism in there. So this is also inside in ArcMap, but now Pro is having more features. Then data reviewer, it's a kind of an advanced data quality QA, QC software, kind of a platform. Then there are some other things, workflow manager, indoors. Indoors means indoor building environment. Then locate XT, parcels, especially for parcel fabric. So there's a data model called parcel fabric for handling land parcels. So it's a special data model. Pro is having that as in a kind of an advanced method. Then territory design, publisher, there are other extensions like this. Then there are industry focused extensions like aviation airports and chartings. In defense industries, there are defense mapping, especially containing the military symbology, military level symbols. Then maritime charts and like bathymetry modeling kind of applications. Then there are referencing related things. For example, line feature, we can have a referencing method called linear referencing. So there are different extensions built beyond that capability to have this linear referencing, and also there are advanced cartographic extensions like production mapping. So these things were in ArcMap also, but now they were developed into the Pro environment. Right. So we will go through few extensions with the limited time. So first I will go to extension called Locate XT. So Locate XT, it's kind of an extension which we can extract data from unstructured platforms. What is the meaning of unstructured? Maybe from a document, right? So here you can see a text. So I can copy this text. Let's copy this. So I will go back to Pro. So I can open from this catalog window, I will open a map called Locate XT. Right, this type of map. So I will remove some old data. Right, so I don't need this. Right, so it's a base map here, background map of the world. So I'm going to run this one of the tools. So for analysis options in Pro, so there's a ribbon called Analysis. So this ribbon contains tools and also the model builder environment. And advanced customization, there's a Python environment, Python window. So here, there are Python notebooks, which we can automate certain functionalities, and also there's a Python window for running Python codes. Right. So now I'm going to the tools, the inbuilt tools. So here you will find different tools, toolboxes. So these extensions, which I have mentioned, like 3D Analyst, so there are toolboxes. Then there are different other toolboxes inside Pro. So there are a lot of toolboxes. So when it comes to this type of tools, there's a toolbox called Utility Network. This is specially designed for utility networks like electricity, water kind of network analysis capabilities. So likewise, there are different tools. So we can search tools by this search window. There's a window for searching tools. So if I take a popular tool like Buffer, we can search and find the Buffer tool. Then when we click on it, we can go to the tool location, or you can directly from this area, without going into the section, we can open the tool in a particular pane. We call this the geoprocessing pane. So here we can give the inputs and outputs and run the tool at the end. So that is the workflow of getting a tool. Okay. So I would like to go and find the tool here. So it's called extract location from text. So this tool is organized here. The reason is any tool we can add into favorites or gallery. So if you are frequently using a tool, you don't need to search again and again. You can save your time and run the tool from your favorite section. So I'm going to run this tool now. It's kind of a different tool. So what I will do here, I will just copy this text into this tool. Then we have to give a name for our layer. So normally this is running. This is trying to read this text value. So there's a text here, right? This text value, and try to extract the locations out of this text. So we will create a name for this. I will put a simple name like sample1. Then we can run the tool. So in the background, you can see something has happened. So we'll check this. So here We can change the symbol quickly, then you can easily identify this. So there are some locations extracted from that text, like this. So here you can see this value has been extracted from the text. Okay, we will do it again. So this is a kind of a foreign example. So I would like to so I will like to open my folder here. So I'm going to open this one we have done. I'm going to open some data. Here there's another text paragraph. So I'm going to copy this paragraph. It's about candy. So we will copy this. And I'm going back to Pro. Then again, we can run the tool here. This is the tool. We'll run this. So for the input, I'm going to paste. So I'm not sure whether I have copied this. So I will go back here. I will paste this. And I will put the name S2. So there are different methods here. You can detect coordinates in different formats. Degrees, minutes, seconds. There are different formats it can detect. So we'll run the tool. So now you can see a point here. So this is the S2. So this is the point. So we can change the symbol and see. So it has extracted this coordinate from this paragraph. So where's the coordinate now? So here you can see, you can find out the coordinate inside the paragraph. So it can extract coordinates by reading this type of text. So we will do it once again, right? I will close this, right? So we'll check another method here. So there's another file I have copied here. Just from a website, I copied this text values. Some coordinates are there related to some cities. I have just copied that thing into a text, just a Word document here, right? Some information. So let's see, just without copying the text, whether we can direct the path for the tool. So again, I'm going to run the tool, going to the analysis, extract locations. So this time I'm going to use the folder path. So just a folder path. So we will say S3 and let's run and see. So in the background it's running. So we'll change the symbol. So now you can see the points extracted from that particular document. Okay, the functionality of this locate XP is trying to extract the data from the unstructured data formats. So that is the functionality of this particular extension. So that is a new extension in Pro. Right. So we discussed different things now. We discussed about some new features and we discussed about kind of a new extension. Then there's this extension is not a very new thing. This is ArcGIS data interoperability. This one again we are using for data migration purposes. For example, sometimes you may have seen certain data sets are not properly converted into ArcGIS environment. Sometimes we have that issue. So that kind of issue, we have to create different workflows or kind of a workflow to convert the data for the migration process. So one by one we can do, but it is not easy. Here there's a technology used called spatial ETL tools. Spatial ETL tools. And there's a third party involvement here. Not only S3 technology, there's another technology called FME. Together they are having different formats for converting data. So that is the functionality of data interoperability. So it is available with ArcMap also, but we have to separately install the software package. Right. So we'll go to the Pro and see how we can access this particular thing. So I would like to again go into this analysis ribbon. And you can find out these tools. There are toolboxes here. After installing this particular extension, you will find this type of two tools to import and export data. So if we take this importing tool, so there are options where we can import and export like this way. So there's a different view here. Here you can see a different view. So it's same kind of formats. So when you click on it, you can browse it. Here you can find out different formats, different data types. So when I click on it, you will find different types of data formats, which is not sometimes directly accessible for ArcGIS. Some are capable. Sometimes we have to do kind of a conversion. So this is important when we are doing data migration processes. So here you can see different data types. But if there is not enough certain features here, we can build new workflows. We can build new workflows. So close this first. I will show this in a different way. There's a thing in this data interoperability called workbench. So this workbench, we can design certain data conversion methods. So we will open kind of an workbench here. So to create this type of workbench, we have to go through many data processes. I will open kind of a sample workbench like this. So this is actually designed for converting a KML. Sometimes you know the KML is having data with certain HTML pop-ups. Sometimes it is not directly converted. So that type of conversion, if we are having a conversion with errors, we can try this type of tool. In several workflows, it is going to convert the data into the format which we want. So there are different interface. There's a different interface here. We can add different methods like here. We can add different transformations. Different readers are there, because some data sets cannot be directly read by software, maybe ArcMap. So then even Pro can't directly read. Then we have to read it in a separate manner. Then after reading it, it should be transformed into a particular way. Then it should be write again to another format, maybe a shapefile. So a data reader can read it, transformer can transform, and finally write into a particular required form. So that is the understanding of having this particular workflow. Right. So it's not a new feature, but it has been modified with this new Pro interface. Right. So we discussed about data interoperability, and I will go through some more slides. Then the Pro image analyst extension, again, it's another extension. So it is actually a plenty of tools available in this extension and workflows. There are some capabilities listed here, like image classification, change detection, and multidimensional analysis, pixel editors, kind of image processing related things. And also stereo mapping and raster functions kind of things are there. And recently, in last few years, there are deep learning methods like artificial neural networks are combined into this particular extension to detect certain features by customization and identifying the features using different pixels and things like that. And also multidimensional data. Now there are a lot of multidimensional data, especially there are satellite images with certain time features, certain data sets. So that kind of analysis are available with this particular extension. So this extension again related with the ribbon. So here when you have raster data only, it will really work properly. This ribbon is dedicated for different raster related functions, even the functions like georeferencing, which we already used in ArcMap, available with this ribbon. So this ribbon, there are different things. The important part is these raster functions. The raster functions. So there are different functions like this. So there are analysis related, the simple things like NDVI functions. Then there are different, the appearance related things like pan sharpening, the things. Then classification related conversions. So likewise, there are different categories of tools. Corrections here. There are tools related to hydrology and certain mathematical functions. Right. So likewise, there are different tools organized in this particular extension. Like this way. So there's a different option here called raster functions. Then we can access these tools. And also there are things like kind of function editor. So actually this is not the model builder environment. So this environment, we can have these raster functions together, maybe for a certain workflow. Maybe you want to have NDVI, then maybe you may have to have maybe the calculator, raster calculator, functions. So likewise, we can build kind of a functional chain here to run a certain workflow. So that is again available with this image analyst extension. Right. So I will close this. Right. Then I will move to a few other extensions quickly. So data reviewer is kind of an extension. We can improve the data quality. So normally we know about the topological data quality improvements and also some other data sets like improving the data using domains, sometimes we know. But this one is specifically for improving data with several other quality controlling methods. Very advanced extension, rarely used in Sri Lanka, but it's very advanced, and if we can use this for certain data quality controlling methods, it's very good. Right. Then the Windows, I will quickly go through this extension because this is totally for indoor mapping. So floor plans, kind of indoor related maps, and we can create network analysis inside the building, or you can have positioning kind of applications. We can have this model. So to create indoor model, we need ArcGIS Pro, but after creating that, we can publish that into the web environment, or even you can use a mobile app to access that particular feature. So this integrate with the CAD data, we call this building information systems, BIM, together to have certain applications like maintenance applications within the building, kind of workspace arrangement applications. Right. So then these things we discussed a little bit briefly about our extension modules. And as the final topic, I would like to discuss a little bit about the training options which we have implemented already. So we are having several professional certificate courses for ArcGIS Pro related software familiarization work. So one thing is kind of a beginner's course. So this there's a confusion there when we introduced a course in Pro. Most of the cases, the advanced users also like to learn. So, but we are having several different workflows here in our courses. One is to learn the GIS from the beginning. So we are using Pro as another mechanism because sometimes the Pro environment is easier for a user to learn the GIS from the beginning. So the GIS for Beginners course, it's a course specifically for beginners, and also we are using Pro. And certain things which we need from ArcMap, we can highlight there, but mainly we are using Pro as the primary tool. And it is good for the beginners for learning from the GIS from the beginning. Then there's another one called ArcGIS Pro and Advanced Functionalities that is more suitable for the users like the GIS users who are already having a good knowledge in ArcMap. So they can easily capture the Pro functionalities because of the existing capabilities in the ArcMap. They are very familiar with those things. When we introduce Pro, we can relate that functionalities and compare with ArcMap and migrate them into the Pro level. So these trainings are given, there's a reason, because now the whole world is going toward this Pro in the S3 environment. And as Sri Lankan distributor, we have to encourage our users to migrate into the Pro, because like 2026, ArcMap will be fully retired. But until then, there are some transition period, but we are strongly moving users into the Pro environment because it is the future software platform in ArcGIS. So because of that reason, existing ArcMap users can migrate into the Pro functionalities. But some cases in our training courses, we are customizing trainings according to certain requirements. One requirement is sometimes certain organizations are in certain sectors, they want to have specific functionalities. Say, for example, one example we will take like utility organization. They need certain functionalities specific to them. So I will quickly go through one functionality here like this. I will open quickly a map here. Okay, so this is just a kind of, it is not lines and points, just lines and points. This is kind of a network here. So this is called a simple network called trace network. So where you can identify some kind of features. So here you can identify kind of a flow. And also here you can do various tracings like upstream, downstream. Maybe from a particular position, you can understand tracing. And also the kind of different diagrams. So there are things called diagrams where we can have flow charts kind of activities. So this is specifically for utility organizations like water related organizations, electricity related organizations. So there's a very advanced model of this called utility network. So that type of specialized workflows, we are customizing certain training programs according to the users. So that's when we are using Pro, we can further customize into the certain sections. Okay, so that's the second method of having training, standard trainings to learn software and the GIS functionalities with the advanced capabilities, and also the customized GIS training programs. One example I have given. Another example is when it comes to the road sector, the road or any kind of linear data related sectors, like the petroleum sector, we are having linear features, lines. So then there is a extension, there's a tool workflow called linear referencing. Without the coordinate, we can refer the line and place different objects. That is called linear referencing. So again, kind of an advanced feature. So that kind of organization, we are going to have, again, a customized training program. Sometimes first we are doing the basic programs and later on, we are going to customize the program according to them. And third option is, especially for existing customer organizations, we are organizing free knowledge share events, like 2 hours, 3 hour sessions to get the overall understanding about the software platforms, new changes. Since they are already using and already invested in the software, we are giving this as kind of a free session. So very short session. People can request, they can send an official request. And for organizations, we do this maybe for large amount of users, not like 2-3 people, sometimes maybe kind of large audience we are doing, sometimes online methods, sometimes even on-site methods. It's kind of an awareness program. So likewise, we did several awareness from 2019 trainings and awareness programs, especially for education sector. Several universities, the MSc programs, we contributed this knowledge in Pro. And recently we conducted several departments, the universities, Pro trainings. And also from the organizations, the larger training programs we conducted for several organizations listed here, and the smaller knowledge share sessions also. So we have listed some sessions here. So as the final message, we would like to give you that if you are interested in different things like maybe the trainings or even the knowledge sharing events, you can contact us. I think we will share the contact details in the chat window, and you can contact us to arrange that type of programs specifically for certain organizations, certain industries, right? Okay, so that's all about the courses and the pro session. So now I would like to give you kind of a time slot to ask questions. Since we are using the webinar option, you can raise hand or you can give your question into the chat window. Right. So this is the time for you. And if required, I can explain a little bit in Sinhala also. ඔබට ගැටලුවක් තිබෙනවා නම් ඔබට අහන්න පුළුවන්. ඇත්තටම chat window එකට chat එකක් text එකක් විදිහට යොමු කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේම raise hand option එකෙන් raise hand කරලා ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න පුළුවන්. ඊට අමතරව මොන හරි ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවද අපි පැහැදිලි කරමින් හිටියේ විවිධ courses ගැන පැහැදිලි කරා. විශේෂයෙන්ම medium දෙකකින් අපි මේ වැඩසටහන් පවත්වනවා. එකක් English medium courses, විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ රටේ ඉන්න ගොඩක් professionals English medium courses වලට එන්න කැමති. ඒ වගේම සහ විශේෂයෙන්ම Tamil audience එකට ඒගොල්ලන්ට English medium එක ගොඩක් convenient නිසා English medium courses තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ලොකු ප්‍රමාණයක් සිංහල medium කට්ටිය මේ අපිත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වෙන නිසා ඒගොල්ලන්ට සිංහල medium එකටත් මේ courses ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා medium දෙකටම, ඒ කියන්නේ මාධ්‍යයන් දෙකටම courses තියෙනවා. අපි සඳහන් කරේ ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් standard courses කියන වර්ගයක් තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ආයතනවලට අදාළ ශාස්ත්‍රය අනුව, විෂය පතය අනුව වෙනස් වෙන courses තිබෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව knowledge share කියලා, ඒ කියන්නේ කෙටි වේලාවක් ඇතුළත කරන්න පුළුවන් කුඩා sessions. ඒ වගේ sessions free knowledge share එකක් විදිහට තමයි බොහෝ අවස්ථාවලදී කරන්නේ. ඒ වගේ sessions තියෙනවා. ඒවා අපිට request letter එකක් හරි request එකක් එවලා කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ කරපු ආයතන කීපයක් පිළිබඳව තමයි අපි අන්තිම slide එකේදී පෙන්නලා දුන්නේ. හොඳයි, අපිට ගැටලු යොමු කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ session එකට අදාළව. Right. So there's a question here called one question related to dynamic map layouts. I explained a little bit about dynamic map layout. So it's kind of a map series. So imagine you are mapping the coastline. So maybe you have to create several maps. Maybe imagine like 10 kilometer length. You may have to create maybe several maps. Imagine we have to create 25 maps. So one by one we can create, but it is taking time. So that type of workflow, we can have a kind of a index layer. Index layer means maybe along the coastline we can have polygons. Then we can use that 25 polygon layer as an input, kind of an index, and then we can create a series. So then we can immediately, we need to change the heading for each map. So that kind of requirement, we have to change the title one by one. Without changing title one by one, we can add a dynamic text. It's kind of a program text. We can insert that, then dynamically it will change the title. So likewise, we can use scale, date, time. So when you're creating a map, a specific date can be automatically taken into the map without typing that. So that is called dynamic text. And there's another question. I will move to the second question. When does the beginners course start? So we are starting 2 courses during this week. One course starting from this Thursday, that is Sinhala medium. Another course starting from the Friday, that is again English medium. So these 2 courses we are conducting at the night time because of the request. Actually, we organized these courses in last November, but we postponed because of the time differences. So we are organizing these courses in the night time. The only problem is the electricity. If we are having that kind of issue, we are also having a recording session for the program, and we are giving that viewing option of the recording. People can view if there's an interruption like that. Right. So the advanced course will be scheduled most probably in the January, because first we thought to have kind of beginners course to get the people into the pro level, because still the pro usage is very low in Sri Lanka. But compared to globally, the other distributors around the world, the pro is the usage is increased a lot, but still the usage is a little bit low. So we want to increase that first. So that's why we introduced the beginners course first, then the advanced course, most probably in end of January or the start of the February, we will have this advanced course. Okay, then there's another question here. So this is regarding the unstructured data format. Is there any limit to add the text entering the size or no spatial data in same file? This unstructured data, so there are different methods. Some data can be extracted from documents. Some data can be extracted from by copy pasting the text. But when you're copy pasting the text, if it is having headings and things, then sometimes it is taking only that heading. So when it is having like a paragraph format, we can directly copy and paste. I haven't checked the whole limitation of the unstructured data. That I have to check and let you know, right? Okay, again, this, I hope that has answered the question. How to change the same direction line feature at once, flow direction. So actually when we have to model, so imagine we have a water utility or electricity utility. The difficult part is to model the data set. That is the difficult part. So that part we have to check the connectivity of the data. So imagine we have power poles and lines. So the lines should be so we have to define those network models. That is the difficult part. So after modeling that, we can do this flow direction easily. Different flow networks can be modeled. So that's the workflow. The difficult part is to model the data into that level. So we have to increase the data quality. The data is not in quality level. For example, if the data is not connected, if the lines are not connected, first we have to build the connectors like topological editing. We have to do those things first. After that only we can move into the advanced methods of solving, like upstream, downstream. There are different solvers we can use. Right. I will go back. I have used this chat window, and I would like to go back to the chat window again, right? What about ArcGIS services management with the ArcGIS Pro? So ArcGIS Pro usually encourage to publish data. So in ArcMap, we usually publish data into the server environment, ArcGIS server environment, we using different server connections. But Pro, it is highly encouraging to publish data into the web portals. So web portals means either ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise. So by signing in as named users, publishing data into the environment. So then again, it will have the REST endpoints, REST services, service endpoints. But publishing method, we most of the time Pro is encouraging to publish data as into the web portal by signing into that. Actually, there's a question here. Can you tell me the time periods? So these courses actually containing 6 sessions. The beginner's course is having kind of 6 sessions, each session like 2-hour session. But if there's something which we cannot cover in the 6 session because of the time issue or something, we will add another session like 7th session. We usually do that for training programs. If we couldn't cover anything, we are moving into another session like these sessions, like the several Thursdays, then several Fridays. Weekly, we are having the session like 1.5 month period. Okay, any other questions you can post into the chat window. ඔබට ගැටලු තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න chat window එකේ සිංහලෙන් උනත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. One question has asked about the course time. So we have currently decided to start the course like 7:32 or 8, because most of the people are traveling like earlier we had courses like 6 o'clock, but it's difficult for certain people. So we decided to have that in kind of late hours like 7:30 p.m. or 8. Okay, any other things you can post into the chat? Okay, then I think, yes, there's a question. What are the hardware and software specifications do we use Pro? So it depends on the application we are using. but the recommendation is like at least the minimum recommendation like to have 8 GB RAM, and also there are specifications in the internet. We can share that. That is the minimum certification, minimum thing. But if we are doing 3D, if we are doing very high level 3D models, definitely that should be increased. The VGA comes into the action, and also the other hardware requirements, the specifications increased based on our work, right? But even minimum RAM, we can start, we can install. But when we are working with certain features, many layers, many layouts, then definitely we have to increase the capacity. Yes, ArcGIS Pro can be used in offline mode. No need to log in. There are different licensing methods. One method is we can log in through username and password and work. The other methods are we can activate standalone license. No need to have any connectivity. You can use like ArcMap and work. And there is a single user method and also concurrent user license method. I think some of you know. Those our customers, they know about these licensings methods. The Pro is also available in these three models. Like a login you can use. That means when you are using the named user login, one machine you can log in and work, and maybe another machine again you can log in and work, or you can when go home and work by using the same login. So that is the flexibility of named users. But other options we can install in a particular machine. So that those are the options. Okay, then okay, so then we would like to conclude this session. I think we have discussed a lot within a shorter period, but these things I think you can master yourself, because I know most of the crowd, you are well familiar with ArcMap handling. I think you can easily grab this Pro. It is not difficult for the ArcMap users. It is easy to handle. Then it is good to learn, because maybe within few years, the most of the workflows will be totally completed using Pro. So we are encouraging you to use the Pro, because some custom organizations we have seen both ArcMap license and Pro given together. Anyone who take ArcMap or purchase ArcMap having another version of Pro, the both software platforms are there, but people used to use only ArcMap. So if you are already having Pro in your organization, if you are eligible for that, try to use it and learn the platform, right? So we encourage you for that. And with that, we would like to conclude this session, and we are thanking all of you for participating this particular event. Thank you very much.